Alright guys, so for the very first mini tutorial, I'm going to tell you what 3D printing is. I'm sure you already have a rough idea because you've purchased a printer, you've probably done some research on it, you probably know a friend that has a 3D printer or something, but guys, 3D printers are additive manufacturing. So you have subtractive manufacturing, which is a CNC machine where you take essentially a drill bit on a robot and it goes and it mills out blocks of aluminum or wood. You have a laser which can go and cut wood into certain, shapes and stuff. A laser can engrave. Guys, 3D printing is additive manufacturing. Standardly in-home printers use spools of filament. It's literally just a piece of plastic that's been extruded by some machine, and it's been wrapped and wound around a spool. This way it can roll along your printer, and you've essentially got 1 kilogram's worth of plastic on a roll that it can print from, so you don't need a hopper or anything. So first things first, is all plastic the same? The answer to that is absolutely no, it is not the same. This spool right here is standard PLA+. It's black by a company called eSun. This is my go-to brand of filament. I always buy from them if I don't know what I want. This is a spool of ABS plastic. I'm sure you guys have heard of ABS before. Lots of injection molded parts in your daily life are ABS. This is ABS by a company called MG Chemicals, and instead of being injection molded, it's just, once again, wrapped around a spool. This is PLA, but the reason I pulled this out is because, as you can see, it is a little bit glossy and shiny. So this is actually a silk red copper. I don't exactly know what company this came from. I've had it for a while and it's not listed on the spool, but point is, you can get different kinds of plastic. You can actually get the same kind of plastic but in different sheens. You can even get different plastics that have 2 different colors. So you could have, some plastic on this particular spool that half of it is red and half of it is green. So there's all kinds of different filaments. Now, the go-to filament that you should always start with is PLA. PLA melts really low. It extrudes easily. There's basically no issues that you have right out of the box. Whereas if you jump to something like ABS, PETG, you start to have other issues. You have more advanced problem solving that you have to do in terms of the print speed, the print temperature. Even having a ceiling fan will ruin prints if you're printing with ABS. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to have these more advanced materials mess up. So when you're starting out printing, probably you just want to start with a standard spool of PLA or PLA+, doesn't really matter, because there's just the least amount of starting up hiccups. When you're starting out, you want to learn how to 3D print. You don't want to fight the battles of printing with a more advanced material. So even as someone that's advanced like myself, I still print 95% of everything with PLA. PLA offers the most colors, the most variants of colors, so sheens. It offers the most color changing plastic options, and generally speaking, you can get it at a pretty affordable price. Alright guys, so we're going to do a very quick dive into how to buy your first roll of filament and where to start. So I'm on Amazon. You guys can shop wherever you want. If you don't have Amazon locally, then you can go to your local brick and mortar store. But guys, I'm going to show you a listing from eSun PLA+, or they call it PLA Pro now. This way I can give you some tips. Now, I always print with eSun PLA+, and that is because I don't want to have to fight the battles of learning new rolls of filament. Every single roll of PLA is going to be ever so slightly different, and I just want PLA Plus from eSun because it's always going to be the same. You guys can get the same characteristics if you always buy the same brand of filament as well. One brand of PLA to the next brand of PLA is going to be very, very, very similar, but it's not going to be exact. So anyway, guys, what you're going to notice is you'll have a brand name, which is eSun in this case, the kind of filament, and then Pro or Plus or whatever. So you're going to see a lot of PLA Pro, PLA Plus, ABS Pro, ABS Plus, all of this. Guys, this filament is PLA, standardly known as PLA Plus. I will never buy standard PLA because the difference in strength between PLA and PLA Plus is immense, and the price difference is basically non-existent. So what you'll find are rolls come in 1 kilogram, they come in half kilograms, and they come in 2 kilograms, and that's pretty standard for in-home printing. You can also get 5 kilograms and 10 kilograms for more industrial purposes. You'll also find 1.75 millimeters, and maybe it's 2.75, or maybe it's 3, I can't exactly remember. But this is the diameter of the filament. Pretty much, guys, you want 1.75. Be very, very careful because you might accidentally find some material which is thicker, and that's not good. It's not going to fit in your machine. So make sure you get 1.75. Pretty much every single roll is going to default to 1.75. You'll also find the dimensional accuracy of your roll of filament. Guys, I will never print with anything that is greater than plus or minus 0.03. That's because you can standardly find plus or minus 0.05, but sometimes that will create issues. If you get to plus or minus 0.05, your calibration on the printer that you're using slowly starts to become irrelevant. Not good. So for me, it pretty much has to be plus or minus 0.03. The only time I will ever go to plus or minus 0.05 is if there's a very, very custom filament that I want, something very special. Let's say it was PLA Plus color changing. Let's just say I wanted this roll of filament right here, and the only way that I could get it was if this was plus or minus 0.05. That's the only way that I would ever go that high. You might find plus or minus 0.02. Guys, it doesn't matter. 0.03 is fine. Anyway, moving on. Those are pretty much the two main things you want to watch out for. Guys, also keep track of the price. You really probably shouldn't be focusing too much on price. As long as you're under $25 per roll, $25 US per roll, you're probably gonna be doing okay. So if you are interested, guys, you can use Honey. I obviously am not sponsored by Honey, but Honey has price history. You can also use Camel. That will also tell you price history. Just go ahead and type Camel. And then what they ask you to do is copy the link, and then you can, let's see. Well, it's going to fight me. I can't do it now because I guess I have ad blocker on. Anyway, guys, you can use these tools to make sure you're not getting totally scammed. See, like in this case, eSun PLA Plus was $25. I actually bought it when it was this high. But point is, make sure what you're buying isn't just totally marked up in price. Anyway, guys, pretty much all PLA is going to melt between 200 and 225. If you find something that says that it's different than this, you're probably dealing with something that's not PLA, so be very careful. And guys, other than that, just do your research. If you don't know what to buy, default to eSun PLA Plus. That's what I go with. A couple of good brands that you just can't go wrong with. Hatchbox makes good PLA. You can get good stuff from, let me just do a quick look. Polymaker makes good PLA. Overture makes good PLA. eSun makes good PLA. Sunlu's another big brand. Some of these I've never heard of. And then, guys, do not buy Creality. Guys, do not buy Creality PLA. Seriously, the worst PLA I've ever used. I've probably had about 5 or 6 spools. Every single spool of filament from Creality has been awful. And that is, it is literally the worst filament I've ever used. And then, guys, if you really just don't know, you can go with Filament. Filament is always going to be good. But guys, without extending the length of this video for too long, point of the matter, this is how you guys can shop for your first roll of filament and make sure you guys are doing pretty good in that sense. Don't buy the wrong thing. And guys, after you have become very well versed with 3D printing, you can maybe start to advance to PETG or ABS. Guys, well, abs. Sorry, well, there we go. ABS filament. Guys, you do have a direct drive machine. The AnkerMake M5 is direct drive, so if you want in the future, you can try to print TPU. Some of these are very advanced materials, or more advanced materials, I should say, so do not try it at your very first, while you're still learning. It's a terrible idea. You're going to have issues, and that's going to make you hate the activity of 3D printing. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope to see you in the next video. If this was helpful, please leave a like and a subscribe. Put some comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.